Elephants these days don't roam too far and wide on the African continent. International and conservation borders see to that.
Maar nou word hulle uit die lug afgeneem en getel vir moontlike oorgrensparke. Zaal het in Mozambique gaan saamvlieg.
It's 3 on a Thursday morning. A team of South African microlight pilots are embarking on an environmental mission to count elephants in Mozambique. They are the Bateleurs, aerial crusaders who frequently take off from their daily lives to help the environment. Ahead of them is a day's journey to the Maputo Elephant Reserve.
We fly for fun, and it allows us to fly for fun, but at the same time for that fun to be useful.
I think it's giving something back to conservation, giving something back to humanity and to the future.
Shortly before the Mozambican border, we came across a roadblock where police were looking for anything out of the ordinary, like 7 microlights traveling in single formation down the highway. For us, crossing an international boundary is a mere formality. For the giants of Africa, it's not that simple.
Many of the parks in Africa exist on borders of countries, but borders have become fenced.
Professor Willem van Reets is the CEO of the Peace Parks Foundation. They are involved in creating cross-border parks stretching throughout southern Africa.
Now, these borders were produced by the European countries in 1884, and these borders never recognized environmental features.
It is because these environmental features were not considered that scientists are now exploring the possibility of opening up these borders to wildlife.
There are so many pilots out there who see the trouble this earth is in.
Nora Creyer founded the Bateleurs, an organization of volunteer pilots. Jaco Brits and Tony Venables both fly for the Bateleurs and have been requested for this latest mission. You're not paid anything to fly these missions. Is it worth it?
You know, we've got a passion for flying. We get close to nature. We tend to fly places that we normally don't. Everything is worth every minute of it.
Like all the Bateleurs, Jaco and Tony fly for free, donating their time, their services, and the use of their aircraft for worthy environmental causes.
I joined Bateleurs for the fun, the opportunity to fly in places that we would never fly under normal circumstances.
So how much is work and how much is play?
110% jaw, and the rest is work.
All of it's play. All of it's play. And the benefit is that part of it is some help to somebody.
The mission is to count and photograph herds of elephants in the Maputo Elephant Reserve. With these photographs taken from microlights, zoologist Dr. Neil Farrell from the University of Pretoria will analyze the elephant populations. The Peace Parks Foundation will use this information to determine the feasibility of removing the fences between southern Mozambique and northern KwaZulu-Natal.
Dr. Neil Farrell, in fact, wrote to us and said that they were considering dropping the fences between Tembe and Maputo Elephant Reserve, but they needed to know what sort of elephant numbers were on either side of the fence. And so it was a natural for the Bateleurs to do.
It's missions like these that Nora envisioned for the Bateleurs when she started the organization 4 years ago.
Hopefully we really are putting back into the environment and into conservation things that we'd all like to see happen.
She came up with this idea during a flight.
I was in touch with a friend in Alaska who flew for an organization called Lighthawk. And when Dr. Ian Player chartered a plane to take decision makers over St. Lucia, I saw what an impact that aerial flight had. It enables one to get a broader perspective. I mean, you can fly over an area that you could never cover in days. You can fly over in about an hour.
We'd like to fly people like educators, decision makers, anybody who's involved in the environment, to give them an aerial perspective of issues on the ground, which are not necessarily seen any better way than from the air.
Joe is our microlight squadron leader. In fact, we call him General Joe. He is just incredible, and he just picks up a mission request and simply flies with it.
Africa is tough. The environment is tough out here. You can't come down here and expect it to be like going to a 5-star hotel. So you know you're going to have dust and grit and a bit of sand to contend with, but the thing to remain focused on is getting the job done.
The journey from Johannesburg was meant to be a tolerable 9-hour trip, but with almost impassable roads, the Bateleurs would need creative solutions if they were to reach camp before dark.
Hey.
Daddy, how's it going?
Yeah, I tell you what, boy, you're going to owe me tomorrow.
It's a lot of work getting into the places that we normally fly. It is so remote, we have to take everything in and bring everything back again.
One thing that almost stayed behind was a broken trailer, but that would have meant leaving a microlight. Determined not to be beaten, ingenuity was required.
You can fix it.
Yeah, no.
Now, yeah.
Oh.
Can cut a tree down over there, that tree over there. We take the tree, we bopper it from there right through to here.
Yeah, and you got a thistle for tie down?
You know what they say, hè? Boer maak 'n plan, maar 'n Engelsman het twee en al twee van hulle werk.
There is no problem for Joe. Everything is solvable and everything is doable.
After 19 arduous hours on the road, these determined pilots set up a temporary camp late at night.
What can we expect today?
What do you see? There'll be a lot of work done today. There's a lot will happen.
Why do you guys go to all this trouble?
I would imagine we're probably compulsive about flying.
We're chopping down this tree in order to build a runway. What's going to happen is this tree is going to be dragged behind a car at least 20 or 30 times to smoothen out the runway so that we can fly from this point.
Rid of all the... there we go.
Being resourceful in overcoming obstacles in this environment is par for the course of being a bateleur.
These Bateleur missions are an adventure, you know, and you can't buy that type of adventure.
So Tony, when did you get into flying?
When I took early retirement, I decided, no, that's what I'm going to do. The only thing I'll ever regret is I waited so long. And now, you know, I can look out of my office window at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and think, beautiful day, and I can go and fly. It's the most incredible thing.
There's a certain belonging by the members of the Bateleurs, and they just feel proud to be one. It's wonderful.
The camaraderie is unbelievable. After we've had a good flight during the day, around the fire at night time, it is what life is about. It is fantastic.
At first light on Saturday morning, the Bateleurs give their planes a once-over before the survey of the giants begins. If the mission is successful, these elephants could soon be roaming between two countries. This would be another major step forward for the Peace Parks Foundation, following an agreement signed 2 years ago that united the Kruger National Park and its neighbors in Mozambique and Zimbabwe.
It actually gives you an opportunity of a giant network of parks across the southern African continent. My feeling is that the bigger network of parks would, for quite a few years, reduce culling quite dramatically. But of course, nobody wants to kill elephants. The best idea is to just drop the fence and let them migrate naturally. Aerial survey and flying and looking at elements from the air is the best way of doing it, especially in surveying elephants in quite a wild environment.
Okay, John, you can turn out to the right, then you come and form up with us. Thanks. Copy that. Sing right. Joachim, you can turn out left here just to let the guys catch up with you. No, you're going to be the left-hand marker.
Aircraft approaching from the south. We've got elephant right down below us.
Do you have me visual now? Alex, this is Mark. I'm directly overhead. You this time will descend on your right-hand wing to take a few photographs. The elephants are starting to move into the tall trees now. Okay, we're coming. I'm right low and I'm pulling. I'm doing 65 miles an hour.
Joe, if you look out at your 7 o'clock position, there's a huge herd there.
Talk about the ones out in the open there.
That's correct, yeah.
start heading back now.
James Keith, I'm on my way in as well.
Why do we do it? Because the environment needs to be looked after. Somebody's got to do it, and everybody does what they can do. Many grains of sand makes up a sand dune.
Is it worth it? Absolutely. It's making a difference somewhere. Even one mission makes a difference.
And some people have all the fun. In our next story, they're gay, they're committed,